Hello, everybody. I am here, Jill Woodworth. I am here with Rafael Ferreira, and we are
Ferreira.
getting ready. I can't quite say it like that. I don't have the skills.
One day you will.
One day we had a fantastic conversation where he shared about his life and his journey into ascension and awakening, and we're more now toward getting towards current day. So we decided to get together one more time and put this final piece onto his story. And I'm really grateful for you, Raphael, for allowing me to be part of your telling and sharing of your light, your awesomeness, your gift to humanity that you
Thank you
are.
very much. Thank you very much, Jill. It's a pleasure, actually, and an honor to be here with you because you have your own podcast. You interview a lot of people, and I'm just one guy that one day, like you said, found about something that was the ascension path. I didn't know it was the ascension path, that it was going to be called this way. I was just on the hero's journey,
The
in a
hero's
vision
journey.
quest.
I like that.
Yeah,
The ascension word has become loaded. I think there's a lot of misunderstandings around what it is. And so,
it's a good concept, but
oh, yeah,
I started with another thing. Really start with the journey to find yourself, the hero's journey, because you
yep.
start like you're feeling nothing, you're completely lost in this fucking world that you don't understand, and then one day it just lights up a spark inside yourself, and you, I don't know, start to see the world a little bit different, and you want to be different also, meaning different to be better, you
Right.
know,
Yeah, it's like a
creating.
calling to be better.
I think that's why we are here, to be better. I don't know if this is the point or not, but I also understand that bad things must be in the mix, or else you don't understand what is ascension.
You got to
And
have the contrast.
yeah, you got to have the contrast to be able to see yourself, being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm here, I'm alive, and I do count. I do have this weight on this planet, okay? And I'm here for a reason. Now, what is that reason? And I told you that I start remembering a lot of stuff in the age of 3. So I come from a background of really Christianity, really deep rooted Christianity.
Okay.
And my mom, she went to church each day. That's the
Every
thing.
day.
Yeah, every day. And she
Wow.
teach the kids at home also about Christ and all the things that go along with that. So in terms of spiritual teachings, I always had spiritual teachings that were really rooted on Christianity, okay? But also on this magical part of the story of the Bibles, because you have the miracles, that's magic.
Yeah.
So following this path, I was also very lucky to be born in Portugal, which is a very beautiful country.
Yeah.
And it has a story. And the story says that the Virgin Mary, she landed, if it was a ball of light, she landed on a olive tree near Fatima. And she delivered the message, and then she healed people.
Wow.
Yeah, this is true, okay? This is not like a myth or a legend. This is true. And this happened in 6 more times in 6 different locations in Portugal, okay? It was just one? No, it was repeated 6 times.
Really? I have not heard that.
Honestly. Yeah, it's the miracle of Fatima, of the Holy Virgin Mary of Fatima.
Okay. I've heard that
Yeah,
terminology, but yeah, I just got to
yeah,
write
it's
that
on
down.
the 13th of May. It's really important for the Christians. because it was really solid, tangible, a real miracle that, according to what people said, she healed people, includes people with deformities and people who were blind. So this is things that you got inside yourself and you say, whoa, even though I don't want to be spiritual, my country already has a really spiritual background.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
deep.
Yeah, that's very deep. And then when you go growing up, we get into the 90s, you got the UFO movement really kicking hard. And then you start thinking, oh, it was really spirituality, or was some kind of ETs that came here. And for what I listen, ETs are really bad people. They abduct people, they make experiments and all these kind of things that you know.
Like I've heard that the grays are they are humans in a degenerative timeline. Like they're the future that went the AI route and are coming back to get our good stuff and try to heal themselves.
That's a very nice point. I really enjoy that point. You got a perfect view on that. Believe me. We had all this story, and in my country, the aliens came with a good message, and they were healing people with light. So I said, wow, this is really awesome. And I was small, okay? Because this happened on the 70s. I was born in the 80s. So
yeah,
for me, it's like, this is my root culture, spirituality. Then you go on that path, okay? And the first thing that I remember when I was 5 or 6 years old is saying one day, I was talking with my mom about the calendar, and I said to her, why can't we divide the calendar, okay, in even months? Wouldn't be better instead of going 30 or,
right.
I'm sorry, 28 or 29, 30, 31.
Right. They have to
30
remember
again.
these things on your knuckles, and
That's fucked up.
it
You may
is.
say, no, that's funny. You exercise your mind. Okay, I exercise my mind, but we keep on exercising the mind in irregular time, correct? Because if you have a schedule which is not very regular, you're going to end up with crossing cables and saying, fuck, I cannot attend to their interview. Why? Because it's irregular. A lot of things can happen in a irregular time. So much of good, so much of bad. It's irregular. You are not stable. You are not balanced.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I believe it, because actually we are putting or making the best to put some order in our lives with a calendar, with a schedule, natural schedule. They say it's natural because the earth has 365 days, blah, 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 which is true. But if we have 365 days, we can really make a calendar with even months. And I don't know, in terms of biological clock that follows, I don't know, perfection, I don't know why the Christians set a calendar that is really imperfect.
Good question.
Yeah. So I follow on with this line of thinking, okay? Fighting angels, demons, making pacts with the devil itself, with Lucifer, okay?
Personally,
Yeah, me personally,
and you talked about that in the other parts of your story.
I think so.
Yeah, you did. I
Not so
read through it.
much, not so much as I will speak right now,
No, go
but
ahead,
yeah,
please.
because it was really condensed. So in this part, I had a book to make a ritual, okay, of black magic, which I had to do some things, okay, in order to achieve certain goals, which you do. Why? Because it's a ritual. And it's not a bad book. It's really a good book, but it's dark one.
Would it be considered like black magic type, voodoo type, that kind of?
Yeah, yeah, Satanist.
I have a friend that's into that.
I keep on saying the same thing. It's not that bad if you want to discover what's on the other side. Okay? Because like I told
I
you,
see.
I was in the light constantly until my mom died. And then my mom died, a series of events took place that I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So if I don't have anything more, I will discover the world in its totality, the good things and the bad things. And I'm going to do a lot of bad to people, okay, in order to really learn what is karma.
Yeah,
Because
that's
my
good.
mom had me overprotected, but at the same time, she wanted me to be the best in everything. Okay? Yeah, that's true. So in order for me to know the good, I have to know the evil in order to be able or somehow able to transform that evil. Because I don't want to say, oh, I'm going to heal the evil. Though it doesn't heal. It keeps on being evil. You just have to transform it. And it's never going to stop because it's what I keep on saying. If you reach God, God will nurture both polarities, okay? Which in actuality, there are three polarities. One is neutral point, that a lot of people forgets about it. And they only say that the world is on two. It's on two polarities. No, it's not. That's why that's the 0 point.
0 point.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And once you integrate all this shit, you are able to come out of the dark.
Yeah. That's really
At,
well put.
at least for me. Why? Because I have this background of doing good works, for to speak. Okay. Because when you are a Christian, you are taught, I'm sorry, to share. That's the best thing. And you share everything. Okay. Even more, I had a large family, so we have a lot of gatherings. So being with a lot of people doesn't scare me. Okay. My ground, for so to speak. And with this in mind, I grew up and in the Psytrance parties in the years of 2000, 2001, the things started to change. It was not just like psychedelics and drugs and drugs and drugs and just forgetting, disconnecting from the matrix. Because techno is one thing. Now, psychedelics, like in the woods, it's not closed. No, it's in the woods. It's open air. Everything changes. And there's no walls, you know? It's in the woods. You can go everywhere, get lost.
Wow. Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, yeah. It's true. A lot of people got lost
I
and
believe that.
yeah, yeah. A lot of completely insane with LSD, okay, and ecstasy. So people were really flipping out. Even myself, it was really easy to come into a point and start looking to your friend that's next to you, and his face starts to change. Yeah, the LSD effects, they are really great.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to get lost and then find yourself one day, which is really a good thing. I love that part because you connect to the nature, okay? And then you deal with the spirits of the nature when you're really high sensitive. So it's really easy to learn and to practice hugging trees and not just trees, seeing how the insects go around or just like the grass is doing like this. And it seems like it's growing. Oh, it's fantastic. It's for me, everybody should have this kind of experience with
I
drugs or no
agree.
drugs. But a party in the woods where you are feeling great, you're with your friends, the mentality there is to have fun. Okay? Laugh, share your life because you're with a lot of people. So it's really easy to share because nobody's going to be like pointing the finger at you.
No
They're
judgment.
all, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. No judgment. really open hearts. They want to know the experience. They want to share their experiences. And on that time, we didn't have internet, and it was really hard to get a mobile phone. They were
Yeah.
expensive
Yeah.
on
Was that
that time.
early 2000s?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2000, 2001.
Yeah. I'm thinking back. I don't know when I first had a phone, but yeah, it was a huge, big thing at first, like this big
Yeah,
brick. Yeah,
yes.
I get it. No
So,
phones, no tech.
and it was really easy to communicate. You're really high, you sit down, you're tired of dancing and listen to bullshit, and you just want to be there, smoking a joint, enjoying the party, seeing how everybody's dancing. Then comes one guy, he starts to speak really soft with you, you start to speak soft with him. It's really, I don't know, it's really enjoyable. And your mentality shifts also from the dark to a little more light. And you start to discover that you have a lot of potential inside you. So
Yeah,
I started to organize free parties.
that's so awesome.
Yeah, we got together. Sometimes it was in bars, and other times it was open outdoors in the woods. We just
So that was your job,
It was like, no, it was a hobby.
hobby. Okay.
I did it for 1 year because there's a lot of money involved in it, and you just had to work for 3 days, and you were working on the party. Okay, yeah. I helped because were a lot of people cooperating to get all the shit done.
Oh, I bet. That's a lot.
Okay, yeah, there's 50 up to 100 people just working, and then you have the publicity and helpers. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you have money to invest, baby, in the beginning, you have to count with your friends and you have to share the profits. Then that's how things started.
Yep.
Everybody works for the same, and you got to the end of the 3 days and you say, fuck, I got the same money, okay, that I had when working 5 days a week. So
Wow.
it's cool.
Very
You know,
much.
get used to it. You don't do anything in the week. I was just on the phone or getting in touch with the people, seeing places. We
Hmm.
had to pick places that the police wouldn't go there because we didn't have a license.
Yep.
It was all free. It was
Oh,
all
I
like,
love
yeah,
it.
well, yeah, those were the days in Portugal. Yeah. On the other side, there was a party which you had to pay 15, 20 euros, and you paid that time, 20 euros for 3 days of party.
Wow, that's
Okay.
cheap.
Really cheap today. If you want to go on 3 days, you have to spend like 50 to 70. And
Yeah.
then more what you're going to buy there. So everything changes. It's not the
Yeah.
same thing. Today, it's really hard to do this shit.
I yeah, I can
Back in
imagine.
the days, back in the days, it was not easy, okay? Because we had this shift from our natural currency to the euro.
Oh, right. We talked about that. That was a big
That's why
problem.
that's why I started with this also, because I lost my job. Because we were collecting a lot of money and people didn't want to pay this money, so they start to fire people. Okay, that's what it is. Oh, you don't want to do? Well, I cannot do anything. That's what it is. Bye bye. Yeah, they pay everything that they owe you. You go and then you find yourself a job. I was finding myself a job and I end up, I don't know, creating parties. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Working for myself for the time. And then things got fucked up
Tends
into
to
a point.
happen.
Yeah,
We're human.
yeah. We reached 2007. It was really, at least. Then we reached 2007. And in 2007, it was like a breaking point. Okay. And in 2007, I really started to enter a new world, for so to say, because it was really a new world. I was already with the information of the foundation for the law of time and the dream spell. Okay. Now we're talking about time. And I start to deal with these people. I'll find out about them in a party also, but
Uh-huh.
this was a techno party that a girl spoke of the thing that was the kin, the galactic kin. And I get,
Kin.
what the fuck is that? The galactic kin? Yeah, the Maya, man. And I said, I knew the Maya for a lot of time, okay, from the cartoons, from the history and all the stuff. But I never stopped thinking, what the Maya culture? Yeah, they have a culture also, like the North American Indians. They have
Yep.
this old culture that
Whole
is
culture.
really, really old and really rich of technology and all the stuff.
Yep.
So I said, "Ooh, nice thing."
So it caught
And
your ear.
yeah, and meantime, we said it, everything got fucked up. I had a huge problem, and I chose myself to say to the, please put me in the place that I really need to be, which is my fucking place in the world. I don't care if I have to learn a new language and a new culture. I just need to be where I'm supposed to be. Okay? Because right now, I want to kill somebody because a lot of people did damage to me that it was really hard to accept. So I wanted to kill somebody. I'm not capable. I knew it. Uh, in the time that I was thinking, I said, I'm not capable of doing this. But I'm really with this thing on my heart. So the best thing is to leave this country. And it's what
Yep.
I did. I
Yep.
didn't know it at the time. I went and applied to a job. They said, you're going to Spain for 15 days, then you come back to Portugal, then you go to Spain again for 15 days. Okay? Like this for a year. This
Wow.
was the contract. Okay?
Yep.
I got there. After a week, I was saying to the guy, oh, if you don't like the way that I'm working, because I want things clean and I work in a clean environment, okay? You just have to say so. I'm not very intelligent, I'm not very bright, but if you leave me here tomorrow, I will find my way home. Believe me, I just have to settle myself in the map and know where is my home, and I will get there. On the next day, he said, you have your bags prepared? No, so go prepare your bags because you're going to stay here. You're so
Wow.
clever, so intelligent. Okay. So now you're going to stay here. Okay. I have no problem with that. I did my things. I got to the consul in Barcelona, and then I saw myself in Barcelona. And I said, fuck. I saw Barcelona in the movies. Freddie, yeah, Freddie Mercury singing
Right.
with the fat lady, Montserrat Caballé, which is really beautiful.
Oh, I
And I
bet.
said, wow, I'm here. What the fuck is this? I was dealing with a new time already. I was dealing with meditation also. It was really weird. Okay. Because the LSD gives you this fucking freaking natural connection to yourself. And it's what I keep on saying to everybody. Everybody on his natural way, they are really positive and non-violent. Okay. And when you are non-violent, when you go into meditation. But that's naturally. And that's where I look. LSD taught me a lot of things.
No, I hear you.
Isn't
It's,
it weird?
yeah, it is. I had similar experiences where you learn from the plants, but you don't need to always tap them.
Yeah. So I saw myself in Barcelona, and they had to the consul had to call the company. They had to check everything, and then they said, "You want to come and pick the guy?" And I said, "No. Are you really crazy? If they come and pick me, they can leave me anywhere. I don't know. I can disappear.
Yeah,
I don't
that's a
want
little
to end up in
scary.
home." Yeah, really scary. And I said, I don't want any of this bullshit. I can stay here. I don't have any problem. If I have to stay in the streets, I go to stay in the streets. This is a big city. I have to have some shelter or something.
Yeah.
Okay. And the guy on the console is what he said. I give you a sheet of paper with a lot of directions. There you go, friend. I cannot help you anymore.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I stayed on the streets for 5 days just to see how was the life on the streets, because I had a lot of problems, dealt with a lot of shit, but I never saw myself on the streets. I
Yeah.
never needed. I always had a bed,
Yeah.
a
Yeah. That's a
mattress,
big,
or a
like,
sofa.
that's
Okay,
everybody's
I
worst fear, like being on the streets. And
super.
you were like, hands up, I guess this is where I am.
And I start to recall, shit, I asked for this to the universe.
Right.
I have
Wow.
to enjoy it the best that I can. It was really difficult. It was really hard. But nobody stole me. Nobody raped me. Nobody did anything stupid while I was sleeping on the street. Okay. And then I was in the squad also. And from the squad, then I met my ex. Okay. And she was young. She was learning about life. And when she saw me and when she listened to what I was doing about meditations, sessions, and all the stuff, she said, wow, that's really interesting. So after a week, we were together. Okay. And this was the year of 2007, November. November of 2007. Then in December, I went to Portugal and I said to my father and my entire family, you can forget about me. Right now, I'm dead to the world and to everybody. I'm in another country. I don't know when I'm going to be back again. Okay. So don't expect anything. I just want to live my life and be able to call you and say everything's fine. I'm doing fucking okay. I got my job. I got my girlfriend. I got this. I got that. And when I got here, we spoke a little bit and she said, no, I'm going to help you because I didn't have money at the time. And I was starting with a job that I was going to collect the money on the end of the month. So the girl said, I have some money spared. And she was 20 years old. She was
Wow.
studying in the university.
Yep.
So she lent me some money that I gave to her on the end of the month. But she took me from the street, for so to say. And it was like really a magic scene.
Yeah.
It was like really of the movies.
Yeah. I was just thinking that. It sounds like it.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And she was really on to this old cultures and the magic and the meditations.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, because she was really intelligent and she was going on the university for arts. Okay.
Yep.
She draw really good. She paint really good. And she also loved photos and video production. Okay. And she went to that, to the photo,
Oh,
the
nice.
video,
Yeah.
yeah, and to the
Good for
video.
her.
Yeah, she's really good. And on that time, in 2008, that's when I really start working like full time with a lot of time and the
Okay.
dreams.
What is I don't, can you explain them both? I know a little bit about the law of time, but the dream, I don't know
The
about the
dream
dream
spell
spell.
calendar. The
Oh,
dream spell calendar. Okay, because it's a dream spell calendar. Why it's a calendar? Because it has units which represent days. Okay, but in reality, if you go a little bit deeper, it represents the building blocks of the entire creation.
oh,
Not just this universe, it's of the entire creation.
really?
Yes,
Wow.
because if you understand creation as a means of fractals,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
So you have the beginning of the mala 108 beds of the Tibetan monks that they used for meditation. Okay, so 1/4 is 26 beds.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So we got the 26 as the beginning. 2 plus 6, it's equal to 8, infinity, the octave. Okay. Then you have 260. It's 260 units, the dream spell. And it's not a basic calendar. It's this. The dream spell technology starts on the Maya Tzolk'in. Okay? Then the Maya Tzolk'in have one interpretation of this, and Lloydin and Jose Argüelles, they found out like a new one, which is the original one. They were really dealing with the building blocks of the entire creation.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, universe. Yeah, like a lot of people is doing that with light language and all sort of stuff. They introduced the idea that time is not an illusion, but actually it's the fourth dimension.
Okay.
And there are a lot of people today that agree with this view. For me, this is not so. Okay.
You don't believe that?
Oh, I do believe that. But you have to understand that things, they pass for processes. And if you follow those processes that the dream spell tells you, you're going to find out the crystal spiral. Okay? While some people that have their minds on the physicality will understand golden means, which is the Fibonacci spiral. It's another thing. One is a binary code. The other is a trinary code. Okay? One, it's biphasing. The other is triphasing. It's a threefold thing. Yeah. So time is the entire time matrix. It is not just one dimension. It's the entire dimensions are made of time. Okay? Until you reach one point that people say, it's no time, which for me, it's out of time. It's when you quit physicality, and once you quit physicality, and when I say physicality, it's being gas and then being non-physical. Because gas is the last part of physicality, correct? Then you transform yourself into subatomic particles, for so to speak, I think. Or if it's not subatomic, it's atomic particles.
I don't know, but
from steam, you stop seeing steam. What do you get? Non-physicality. You left physicality. Correct? So
correct.
from there exists another time that people say it's no time. I think that a lot of people didn't reach that far, okay, in order to understand that's another time, or out of time, or non-time. Because if we speak non-physicality, non-duality, why don't we speak non-time?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just because it is awkward.
So speaking.
Being in non-time. I don't know. But it's
Yeah.
just an idea. Okay. So every dimension, they are time. Now you have to understand with what are you working with? Okay. Because once you start dealing with the law of time, the first thing that you understand is this 260 units, it's equal to the gestation period, if everything goes wrong, or if everything goes good. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's the gestation period of a baby inside his mother's womb. Okay? Then if you're going to see from the micro, the baby, into the macro, which is one Platonic year of 26,000 years, it makes sense.
Huh.
No, the system starts to make sense with
Yeah.
the 260 units that created yourself. Then you can start to create because they are available and they are perpetual. They keep on refollowing the same cycle naturally.
Huh.
Okay.
Wow.
Now watch this. Before we have a calendar of 365 days, you had like a stability, a balancing of the earth. Correct?
Yep. That's what you're saying that 365-day calendar is supposed to be doing.
It's an aberration, according
Yeah.
to certain people, because it cannot be equally
Balanced.
divided. It can be if you use the 13 scale. Okay.
Okay.
But if you want to use the 365 days, 65 days, you cannot. You really have to take 1 day out of time, because 28 days, which is again the cycles of fertility, both men and women, okay, they have a 28-day cycle of fertility. No?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect. And now I lost myself a little bit here.
Oh, shit. It'll come back.
Come on, help me
You were
here.
talking about the difference between, or the regular calendar, and then
Good?
let's see. Shit, I can't go back in the recording and hear you.
I go back
You lost it?
either. Yeah. So if we are in a 28-day cycle, I was there.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll
If
cut
we
that
were
out.
in the 28-day cycle, okay, plus the 13 months, then we will reach 364 days. Okay, leaving 1 day to fix up all the mess that you create by dividing this day into portions that after 4 years you are going to take out. That's why the Maya used their calendar, and because of the Gregorian calendar that we have, they had to take out 13 days to their calendar. Not just one, but 13 days. That's fishy. Okay.
Fishy.
Yeah, and until today, I don't think that anybody came up with a solution for this. Okay. So it can be divided equally if we use 364 plus 1 day for the total circulation. Correct?
Wow.
Yeah. But the thing goes deeper if you want to go deeper into the underground.
Yeah.
You need to establish a point in time in order to introduce a new calendar. Okay, this was done in the year 2000. Okay, so we already have this blueprint. Okay, which is the Maya, which the Maya long account, it keeps on going, non-adulterated. Okay, so this system overlaps itself on the Maya. Okay, the Maya used a 360-day cycle, and they deemed evil the last 5 days.
Oh
It
my
was
goodness.
evil days. They didn't go out from a house. They do the best to be pleasant and don't create confusion.
Really?
Honestly.
Wow. No, I believe
And
you. I never heard it.
you go and you can search for yourself.
Oh no, I
Thought,
believe you. Because
no,
I
no,
know
but you
you've,
search for yourself.
yep.
Thoth fights the moon and wins 5 days. Okay, which is 1/72nd of a light portion of the moon, which transforms itself into 5 days. Okay, so something happened, and before Thoth came along into this picture, into the history, okay, let's say that we had another time. I don't know what time it was, but let's say it was a time of the sphere, that it was 360. Why? I don't know, because of the Maya was following it. I have evidence for that.
You do.
They were following it. So why can't I follow a 360-degree of a sphere, being my calendar, and deemed non-profitable these days, celebrating the earth and healing the earth because she has a problem. She has like a blister of 5 days. She's not operating correctly for 5 days, which later in time, let's say 4 years, because it takes 4 years for stupid people to try to fix their mistakes. They don't fix it right now. Let's wait for 4 years, because the science says 4 years. And we keep on repeating the same mistake, but then you want to adjust it to the Platonic year, and does it match? because the Platonic year is 26,000 years. It's a fucking round number. It is round. So you got to make it round from the beginning. Because in the beginning, if you have a round number, when you reach the infinity of that number, it will be round. It wouldn't be like decimal or centesimal.
Right. Of course.
Okay.
It's got to be round. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's perfection.
Yeah.
Right now, we are not in perfection because we don't have an even calendar. Okay. And we have the dream spell technology, which is a path beyond technology. Okay. Giving us back the natural times and the natural cycles of time. Okay. In this way, you can understand, if I share a link with you, if you want to, of the law of time, for you to have an understanding of the basic time cycles.
Yes, please.
That the law of time and the dream spell have to offer. And it's just the basic ones. Just a moment, I'm opening my browser.
Yeah.
And see, in itself, it's already a connection to your own self. Oh, I can share one link for you to decode your galactic signature. Which, see, that's another thing. You start dealing with galactic archetypes, which a lot of people wants to know. It's an archetype. And another ones today say, oh, I feel like I'm letting go of my old archetypes to get some new ones. Okay. Now you know that there are 260 available. That's fantastic.
Wow. Oh, I see it there. Okay.
That's for you to decode and see
Okay.
who you are on your galactic chart of the Maya.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, of the Maya, according to Jose Argüelles and Georgina Argüelles. They were the ones presenting this type of view, because this is a different view. Now you have this second link, which ties you to the time cycles. And the last one that they have, it's the also known as solar ring, perfectly measured by the 13 moon, 28 day harmonic standard, 364 plus 1 day out of time. Makes for 52 perfect weeks. See, if you open that page, you got to the introductions of the cycles of time on that second link.
Okay. I'm sending them to myself. So they'll be in the chat.
If you want to look and just scroll down and goes, you can see there's a lot of time cycles. So if you can put those time cycles as being a dimension each, okay, you don't have a hierarchy. No, actually you got order and some kind of order that you can explore, being this order happening perpetually. It always goes from 1 to 160, 1 to 160, 0, 1, 0, 1. It looks like we're talking about binary, biphasing, but it's not. Like I told you, there are two main currents, okay? Like the symbol of the pharmacy, of the medical industry, right? You got the vertical pulse, the vertical channel, and the two coils around the vertical channel. So who is feeding who? Is the coils feeding the channel or the channel feeding the coils? Oh, they work together. See? And you want to see biphasing, bipolarity. No? When you find out third one, then you go into multidimensionality. Okay? Yeah, the unlocking of your true potential. And this is talking about time. And people say, what's the importance of this? The importance of this, it puts you on the correct timeline. Okay? Where time is organic and it comes on dimensions or layers. If you want a density, for example, I didn't know what a density was, but a density is like a fucking universe unto itself because it houses 3 bands of time.
Wow. You're like, I think like parts of me are taking this in, but a lot of it's going like
And in
smoke's
here,
coming out of my ears.
it's normal because you have the mindset
Oh yeah.
to not pay very much attention about time because time doesn't matter. Time is an illusion. But then you're always struggling in your life because you don't have enough time.
Yeah.
People, yeah, just look about this. People got stressed. They get irritated. They got angry, frustrated, right? And then they
Yeah.
go to meditate. And then what they found out?
They're
Oh, I'm
calmer.
really good at this. I invested time into myself. And I really cared about this time because I'm feeling replenished, more vital, no? More
Yep.
focused, because you come out of the meditation, and usually when one comes out of the meditation, even if you have a lot of problems, you're going to feel lighter, more capable of dealing with the situations. That's why you meditated on it. I think, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it stops that timeline and takes you
Correct.
out of it.
And it takes you out of the artificial time, which is the artificial time of the clock, okay, where the hours are not even nor well divided, okay? Actually, they're not 24 hours in a day. That's the fucking illusion.
Oh boy. Yeah.
That's the thing. If you put a stick on the soil and see the light of the day, then you will realize, okay, that it's different from the nighttime,
Oh.
correct? And if you're going to put a clock, it the stick may say, oh, it's not very accurate. It is really accurate. Okay?
Yeah. More
The same
accurate.
thing. It's the same thing, but it's just a stick in the sand. Okay? And it's being accurate with the light that you are receiving. Okay? And it's an illusion, the 24 hours, because there is not an hour 24. It's 23 point, I don't know how many.
Oh.
See?
So it
Now
got
you have,
rounded up.
I don't think it's possible. You know why? The earth
So
wobbles.
wow. So we're always out of time. We're always off time in this.
If you are wobbling, yeah.
Huh.
It's like a football. You got a football, which is round and nice, and then
Spherical.
it starts to come out a little bit. No? When you put it to spin, it goes out of spin. It must do, because it cannot spin like this.
It was wobbling.
Yeah. So once you fix the wobble, that's why I'm here. I'm here to fix the wobble. I'm not here to work with people. I always say this to everybody, and it's true. I'm not here to work with people. I'm not here to heal people. I'm not the fucking savior, but I say a lot of times, I am the one that you all have been waiting for. Okay? Because I really understand that the earth has a wobble. Even the word is really stupid. Okay?
Yeah.
So we have to fix this. How do we fix this? We have to
How?
let go of the 365-day cycle. You don't need to let go of the 28-day cycle. It's always going to be there. Okay? But if you continue on cherishing and perpetuating the 364 plus 1 day, okay, you will continue on perpetuating one thing that seems natural, which is the 28-day cycle of fertility, okay? But I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. I can follow that cycle in the same way, okay? And having a calendar, which is 360 days. And I will keep on saying, like the Maya, But instead of being the Maya, because they were really on another timeline, really old. So I can learn something from this, and I can transform those days, okay? And having this 364 plus 1 days, in which the 5 days represent the 5 senses,
Ah,
okay? And which I am ascending into waking up consciously my 5 senses, my natural 5 senses. Because they are natural for this form that we have now. Honestly, Jeff, maybe one day your DNA can really reconstruct it, and you may have, I don't know, may end up waking up one day and you have 6 or 7 fingers. I don't know. I don't know what can happen. Honestly, today, know what I know today, unlocking the power of the human potential. I don't know. The
wow.
infinite of reach my mind. That's why I'm on the academy, and that's why I don't follow the calendar the same way that the Foundation for the Law of Time follows it, okay, and sees it. But
Wow.
there is this huge body of work, which is the dream spell and the basics that I recommend to everybody, because there's a lot of people saying, oh, I want to get out of the matrix. I want to think out of the box. To think out the artificial time, the time that someone imposed to you. Now recover your 260 units that your mom and dad gave or shared to you in order for you to reach out that potential and create your own reality. Because today it's really hard for me to have a kid and being able to take care of him in a sane manner. Oh, no more peace, no more war, only peace, less sharing. Sharing? How can I teach my kid to share when he goes to school and he sees, I don't know, the education is who is the best? You're
Yeah.
not the best. So if you're not the best, you have a
It's
fucking
not
problem.
it's not soul centered, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you have to learn according to their standards. You may be
Oh,
really good
external.
in one thing,
External.
yeah, and you can be really good in one thing, and then they say, no, that thing is no good. You have to be good in this,
Yeah.
and you're not good in this, so fuck you.
It's messed up. I know. I agree.
So we have to learn how to deal with this and to get out from all this stupidity. We can use this calendar, and you can say yourself, oh, right now I'm putting my consciousness, awareness, on a new timeline. And I'm seeing, because you are going to deal with this type of literature from the Foundation for the Law of Time, and in there you will see the one that did a calendar and superimpose this. Okay? It's all peace and love. Okay? But they are not asking anybody. They say, no, you have to do this. And you have to do it like I tell you. And I keep on saying, follow the basics, because in the basics, they don't say that to you.
Yeah.
And this is the truth, okay? Because on that web page, on that same page of the law of time of the cycles, the introduction to the cycles of time, on your left section board, you can see exploring the synchronic order, and you have the Rinbree project. If you tap the Rinbree project, then you have something unique, which is the Rainbow Bridge experiment,
Oh
and
man.
that is what
Wow.
got into those are the primary knowledge. It's a
Oh,
really extensive body of knowledge, and you really need to read it.
yeah. It takes I'd have to take some time to read that. That's fascinating though.
I really advised you. And that gave me the possibility of accessing my potential in 2008, start a relationship, and I was being supported by this tool.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. And I was following until I got some bangings on the wall, and I started to ask questions, and then people said, no, you cannot think that way. It is what it is. It's this way. It's not like what you say. And then that was the time that I started to ask myself and ask them, I'm sorry, I don't want to superimpose this to anybody. I don't want to impose it by force. And honestly, I believe that your idea is not the proper one. Okay, because it's really organic, this is really natural. You start being one way, okay, and now you are completely out of line. And it's, for me, it's the truth, because they speak to you that they have a whole system approach. Okay, you're going to see they have this extensive body of knowledge that it comes way back 20 years in the making, plus 20 plus years on the making. They've created a lot of stuff based in a lot of love, a lot of light, and a lot of organic. Okay? So when they stopped doing that, and I don't know if it went for profit, I don't know what they were thinking,
Yeah.
really, honestly. What I do think is that on this webpage, there was a lot of free materials. It was black and white. This is also true.
Oh, really?
Okay, they were not colorful as the originals, but they were for free, because the idea was you dispense the material. It's on PDF format. People got here, they got interested, they go to the shop, they download, we are giving them something. And then they had their products that they sold, the almanac, they sold some cards, they did a lot of stuff,
Uh-huh.
music, and Jose Arguello created festivals. He was the first guy who created the idea of global synchronized meditations.
Huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's
Wow.
the creator of the harmonic convergence, which was the first one. And then he started with the law of time and celebrating in every 25th of July of every year, the celebration of the day out of time, which is celebrating peace through culture. Okay. This idea is instated in more than 100 countries today.
Is
This
it?
is not, yeah, this is not the small stuff. But from 2012, the movement got really bad, because the two figures that they had as the founding fathers, they were gone into the other world. So they were like, until today, the
Oh,
Red
that's
Queen still uses the works of Jose Arguelles, and then she adds something, but it's his works. Yeah, this guy, he created a body of work so extensive that even after death, there's a lot of work that it's new, and he was
wow.
thinking about the future. No,
Wow.
honestly, they captured me, because it was really like one thing leads to the other, and ooh, we are getting the entire picture. It was not just the conspiracy theories. No, it was really, I was dealing with the system. I was asking questions to myself, to the system, and I was practicing each day, dealing with the energies, doing the meditations, and I was reaching incredible results. It was really like, what the hell is this? And just what, with one small system. And I
Wow.
was using time to get answers about the spirit. And then it's when I understand that, fuck, that's telepathy. And telepathy can be instantaneous, okay, in a short distance, in a long distance, and a huge distance across the galaxy, for example, or reaching another solar system, or I don't know, even another universe. Because if you believe in the multiverse, there's another universes, right?
Sure.
Perfect. And this is just using one tool. And it's really basic, and it's easy to use. You can follow it. And it's like you have the key in affirmation, which is like a small poem, okay, which gives you power, awakens
Uh-huh.
your power. And the best thing is that each day you got a different kin. So each day you are integrating a new personality,
Wow.
which is giving you multidimensionality, awareness, and consciousness.
So it's a practice it each day. There's a practice for each day.
Yeah, for each day. Can be really small and it can be really huge. Because we are dealing with cycles of time.
Yeah, that's just, I want to say deep or just, it's a lot to think about. It's almost like I have to not think and just let it sink in.
Yeah, because you never thought about time.
No, I know some of those, it almost hurts my brain. Sometimes I feel like there's people that can grasp these concepts. That's a gift. I think it's hard for me to get some of these higher level concepts. Like I could get so far up and then but it takes me a long time. I need to study it. I don't get this,
Me too.
but oh, good. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
true.
that's really what you shared and how you shared it is just, I've been
It's just
listening to it again,
it's a
just a
small
little
fraction.
bit. I know.
When you start dealing with it, in the summit they said you receive the information when you need to receive it. It's not that you are too old or too young. But I said to me a lot of times, shit, man, I just found out about this right now. I lost all my life and it's going to be really difficult to learn a new thing. And it is, believe me.
It
I
is.
introduced, I introduced a lot of people to this. Only a few said it, or once in a while, I deal with it. Only a few. And it's not an everyday thing because you have to have time for this. At least, at least 30 minutes a day.
30 minutes.
At least.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of
because
people don't want to do that. It's a lot of work. What we call, wouldn't consider it work. I would consider it a blessing to be able to do
yeah,
that.
I think I don't know about you, but I always have 30 minutes in my life for
Oh yeah,
myself. So
I
instead
do.
of being on YouTube, you are with yourself, reading a little bit, getting with it. During the day, you can check out a little bit more. Oh, this was talking about this and that and that and that. It's not bad. And then you go on with it. If you are like me, it's like a new thing and it's really exciting you a lot. So you do it every day.
Yeah, yeah. I get like super obsessive when I start to get into new things that I like. I'm like
Yeah. And when you
all
start to
over
see
it.
the meaning of it, which is
Yeah,
the Linktree project, when you go to the Linktree project, baby, you got the Rainbow Bridge, you start working with not 7 chakras, but 8 chakras.
8.
Okay. Yeah. And you discover synchrogalactic yoga.
What's
Yeah.
that?
With our mudras, okay, and mantras to activate the radial plasmas. Because each day of the week, it's a different radial plasma. It's not the day of the week. It's a plasma generator. Okay.
Huh.
Like a chakra. What is a chakra? It's a plasma generator. Okay. That's why our bodies, they seem to be sealed in vacuum, which is really weird. Okay. If it wasn't like this, the organs would be like, it
Fu-
seems like vacuum. And when you pinch yourself, it's first a little bit of air comes out and then starts the blood going out. It's really weird. People,
It is.
we are aliens. We are inside a suit. It's a spacesuit. See, we are
Yeah.
talking about a lot of stuff here that are really crazy, out of this world. Why? Because you just took out of yourself from the normal world and you are on another timeline.
I
And it's
feel it.
easy, like thinking that you're on another timeline and that you don't want to use this irregular calendar anymore and you want to use a regular one. And you can use it. It's 13 months of 28 days each. That's regularity. Every woman, I guess, on this earth wants a 28-day cycle,
Yeah, they
which is
do.
regular and comes on every 28 days,
Right.
no? Or gets fulfilled each 28 days. Because for me, the red week, which you call the red week, it's initiation. It's the worst part. For me, it's not the ending. See?
Yeah.
In this calendar, you want to learn about light, sound, and colors and symbols. Okay.
Fascinating. It really, it's the, what?
You already have 4 tools to work with.
I do.
Yeah. You got the light, you got the colors, you got the sounds, which are the mantras, and then you got the symbols, which are the kins, and a lot of symbols more.
So how do you, I think you're telling me how you apply this in your everyday life by
It's
doing,
really, you can go on the webpage and you can draw the lecture for the day. And there are a lot, today there are a lot of webpages.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. There's one Spanish one, which is the best. Otherwise, you go on the Foundation for the Law of Time. If you register for the newsletter, I think you will receive a free calendar. I think they are still doing that. On this webpage that you are, or that we were, it used to have a special section with a new free pocket calendar, which is black and white, but
Oh,
it was in
cool.
PDF format. Okay, then you can print it for yourself and you can follow the calendar because you're a beginner, so you cannot
Oh, yeah.
structure it together. But once you do it for 1 year or two, and for example, I bought the almanac. The almanac comes already prepared. It teaches the basics on the back cover, on the back pages, I'm sorry. And on the beginning, you have a small introduction for the entire year, the energies that will come for the entire year, a little bit of understanding about the oracle of the year, okay? Because you have your own oracle, which is 5 units. It's one in the middle, and then you have 4 for each direction,
Huh.
okay? So you have 1 for the year also, and you have this small explanation. And then you have the sections of the calendar where they have a small blank spot where you can leave your thoughts, like
Okay.
creating a small
Okay.
journal.
That's great. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
You taught that really well.
yeah. It's just a small part of it, and I'm
I
not
know.
prepared for it. I just shared the link with you.
Okay.
To be really prepared for it, I'm sorry, but I have to go and read from that web page because I'm sorry, it's the original. It's the original. On the first, no, on the second web page, I can already tell you that they have 2 mistakes. Okay, but
Okay.
it's good. No problem with that.
It's good enough.
No, it's good.
Okay.
It wasn't that way. A lot of things changed and they are not aware of it. They think it's okay, but it's not okay. And I'm not happy with it. And for example, I'm telling you that this is in more than 100 countries and you never heard about it.
No. And I'm guessing it's really interesting that this interview came today. I've really been called to listen to try to get to understand like the deeper esoteric knowledge.
And another thing that you knew was the harmonic convergence, but you don't know who created the event called the harmonic convergence.
Yeah. No,
You don't know how many people were there, if there were really 144.
I know so little
I
about that
know
kind of
so many.
thing.
You know,
So,
this was the guy and the lady, because it's two.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
they were together for a long time. But Jose had already this dream of the harmonic convergence. It was his event. There she was, going along with him, because it was his second wife.
Huh.
Yeah, Jose
Interesting.
Arguello, they were interesting people of the
I
New
imagine.
Age. Yeah, until one day Lloydin just got tired of it and they got really sick also, because they were traveling a lot. And when you travel a lot, you got a lot of jet lags.
Yeah, it
And you
messes with your body, your immune system.
correct. And they were flying from, for example, Peru to Australia,
Yikes.
Australia to China to Spain. And then
Doesn't sound
going,
like fun.
yeah, but they were sharing the message,
Sure.
and people called them, no, come here, we pay you to come here and we want to listen to you, and all of these people wants to pay to listen to what you have to say. So
Yeah,
you're
there
not
they went.
missing that opportunity. It's not like today. I keep on saying things back then, it's not like Zoom today. So you
Right.
really got to be there
You had to
and
be
show
there.
yourself and speak the words for people to reach you, because it's the only way.
Yeah, we forget. It's so easy now.
The other way was using the web page, but the video content was too heavy to be loaded. And the
Sure.
conversion devices, they were all expensive. You not would do that. But today they have links to YouTube, or really the videos there on some web pages.
So you can find a lot yourself.
Yeah,
You
about the
don't
law
have
of time.
to. Yeah.
Woo.
I had a
It is a
question.
foundation. It is a foundation,
It's
Jill.
if I saw that, I see the foundation. Yeah. So when you explain this to do other people, like how does it come up? Do people, are they interested in it that you talk to, or is it just
Oh no,
pretty,
people don't care about it.
nobody cares?
No, they,
Of course not.
when you start speaking with them about all of this and putting all together, they say, what the fuck? But when they read, or they read, when they listen, because I was always also thinking that, yeah, when they read, because sometimes I show to them the mobile and say, read it for yourself. Spend some time learning another thing, because you say that this should be the calendar. But when this calendar was put here in place, it was forced and people didn't want it
Just
because
like
it was
everything
stupid.
else. Yeah.
So think a little bit for yourself and read it. And when they listen for a small reading of the energies that they are, they really got interested in that.
Yeah.
That's like everything with spirituality. If you are not doing it each day, I don't know, today was good. Tomorrow I got work again.
There's no like continuity or
Yeah, that's why
connection with
I choose
yourself.
to I choose to work on people, heal people. It's not I'm charging money from them. No, I'm actually saying to them, do you want to try out something new? Okay, it's based on an energetic potential. Okay, I'm going to put you on a chair. If you want to, I can touch you or I cannot touch you. You choose. Okay, it's always better if I touch you, because this way you got the human touch. Okay, and me pressing the buttons that I need to press, which is the pressure points. Okay, and making the energy flow. Yeah, it's really necessary. You don't need to know, like, this is the L, I don't know, the L5.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you don't
It's a
have to
lot
go
of,
this way. You have to know that in your body, you got a lot of points. You're
A lot.
filled with points. So you have to know just by doing this and
Tapping.
realizing that, oh, I'm okay. For example, I've been detoxing again for the last 3 days
Really?
and I feel okay. Just the ear is like a little fucked up, but all the rest, okay. Because of this, I self-analyze myself. Why?
Yeah.
Because I take the time for it. It's all a matter of dealing with time. Because when you're dealing with time, you're dealing with yourself. Okay?
Wow. Wow. I like that. When you're dealing with time, you're dealing with yourself.
Yep. You want more.
Yeah.
If you want more, it's really easy. What is time? Time travels faster than light. Right?
Yeah.
The only thing that travels faster than light is thought. And if you are a thought form, correct? Then your time.
Trippy.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying, oh, time is the mind. No, time is conscious awareness. Once you are conscious awareness that you are here and now, then you think, therefore you exist. It's easy.
Beautiful.
No? So what is time? It is you and the awareness of time. Because if now comes a person that doesn't have an awareness, first, where he is. But if you can also say, no, he knows where he is. He just doesn't know what time it is. So if he doesn't know what time it is, he's going to be really lost in a no time.
True.
So the
Wow.
best thing is to learn about time. I keep on saying to learn about time is the best thing I was capable of doing in my life.
You're
And because
capable.
of that,
Say that again. You were
it's
capable of what?
I was capable of unlocking myself.
Oh, unlocking. Yes. And that's how you did it
Yeah,
through this.
by changing time. Yeah, because I may be here, but I'm not talking to you from here, correct? I'm talking to you from here, which is instantaneous. Because the thought, it's not in here. If you want to go to your mind is in your heart. It's
Yeah.
where it all started. The heart expanded into the brain. And people
Whoa.
forget about this. And when you start dealing with time, the first thing that you will do is stop and realize that you're here. And if you're here and you're doing something and time goes by, so time is important and time is here. Time exists. It's not, oh, it's a fucking illusion. No, time it's me because I'm seeing time passing by. So time is me. What is passing by is energy. I'm just counting the time or the times that the energy cycles flow. If another person doesn't have this awareness, he cannot even think about this. He's completely lost. And anybody can do what everybody wants with him.
Because he doesn't know who he is.
Yeah. And this way, you start dealing with history. And then you start messing around with people that are really weird. And that, yeah. And that they say that back in the old days, there was this huge technology that was everywhere, and everywhere it was for free. Okay. And people live free and with everything. See where you're going? And by start dealing with time, then you understand per characters. No, I was going to say personas, but I don't know if Thoth was really a persona. So let's say it's a character.
Character.
Okay. Thoth that fought the moon to get more 5 days. A plus 5 days. Fuck, man. So I don't know. It must be a way to understand what was the time before that. And that is on the Sumerian language and on the tablets. They left there that the first calendar was 360 days. And it was and it was not developed by Thoth. Now you're gonna have Enoch in the mix.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And you have to understand that Thoth, according to the mythology, well, he was a disciple of Ra.
Okay.
So he has really the knowledge of everything. The first one is Ra. Then it was Thoth, according to them, to their literature, because there was one guy that came before Thoth that was Enoch.
Oh man.
Yeah. And it was this, I don't know, stories of the Bible that Enoch, the books of Enoch, they are not
Yeah.
allowed to be in the Bible, but they exist. And they say that came
I
to
was
a
just
time.
going to ask you. I was going to say, isn't that somebody from the Bible?
Yeah.
Enoch.
It's one that don't allow in the Bible.
Of course. All the stuff that's right.
See, so it is good to learn about religion.
Yeah.
Even the Bible and getting to know about the Bible. For example, the Christians have this huge complex with the Bible,
Oh, I
but
know.
they are
Went to a Christian college.
but they are not reading the Bible. They are reading some stupidity, okay? That some kind of, I don't know,
That they
person.
manipulated to keep things, to keep power, and it's all a bunch of manipulation of what actually was written. Yeah.
So you ever wondered and went to search information about the true Bible, the Hebrew Bible, and what it says?
Here and there, and I have some like books
No,
that were not in the Bible, like the Gospel of Thomas and
no, the original Hebrew. And
oh, okay.
translation of the Hebrew Bible, literally word by word, not making a phrase, no, word by word, okay, literal translation. Have you ever read it?
No.
So the first thing that you're going to do is to go and search Marco Biglinio, because this guy, he talks to you about the true story of the Bible with the translations.
Oh, cool.
And the word God is not written in the original Bible, okay? And the original Bible, it is the name of Yahweh, okay? But it was like a fucking alien that came here with his alien family, okay, to fulfill a mission for their alien family that
Wow.
was on the other planet called Nibiru. It's there on the Bible, okay?
Really?
And it tells the story of Yahweh,
Ah,
and how they got their settlements, okay? How they did the first human, for example. There were humans already here. It's not, it's like the missing link. What missing link? We already were here.
yeah, I've heard that.
They only manipulated us, okay? Into a point of no return, almost. Yeah, it all started with that, right? And this is really, see, information that is good, is going to help you, and it comes from the Bible.
Say the name of that person again, Marco.
Marco
Great.
Mauro. It's Marco Mauro.
Okay.
Biglinio. Biglinio. I'm going to see. See, it's Mauro. Biglinio.
Okay.
I love to learn new things. True.
Thank you. Ha,
Anyway,
that's pretty close to how I spelled it. Good.
yeah, it's weird because it's Italian.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been great. I don't know. You've talked for a while. No, I'm not saying it in a bad way.
Thank you.
Yes, it was just fascinating and illuminating and just a really,
I told you
yeah.
to be prepared because this
Oh,
time it's going to be hard.
I'm
I was
so
going to be
glad.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my brain is gonna need some, I don't know. It's good. I love it. I love it. I love that I got this piece that you shared this and the timing of it is just great because I'm just like moving away, not moving away, but just wanting to know more of the history, just the connection of that's
As you
all.
see, it's real for me. It's really powerful. Okay, because yes, it's true. I spent some time saying, "Oh, this Christian shit is a bullshit," until one day I stopped it and I
I
said,
never
"Wait,
felt like that really completely. Just that they messed it up and it wasn't, I always thought of Jesus and what he represented. He didn't want to be worshipped. He was here as a man that was on a
that
mission.
that
The,
took away the worships from the temple."
yes, exactly. No?
I'm serious.
Yeah,
No, no,
yeah.
that is fantastic. He set them free from the temple.
They didn't
Temple
need
is
that
like
external,
you're
it
being
was
there,
all,
you're just there, it there. Why? Well, because nobody understands this. Well, but it's sharing, it's love, it's helping the other without asking anything for return. Huh? And people were getting like really weird back in the days.
they still
So
struggle.
yeah, that's why I understand Jesus. I don't know if he existed or not, but for him, it had to be like a fucking hell because they weren't very educated. Today we have a lot of things. Back then, it was really like fucking hell to be
Can't
able to
imagine.
speak about this.
Can't imagine.
I
And
can't imagine either.
I know. Yeah,
See,
that's
we can
a
learn
whole
a
nother
lot of
subject.
things about a lot of stuff if you are being open to it.
Yeah, I try to be.
Really,
I get stuck in like certain thought streams, but I usually end up opening up eventually.
I think everybody, but that's normal. You don't
Yeah,
know one thing until you hear the person. It makes some sparks, but I don't know. The best thing would be take advantage of that spark at least for one day or two to see what comes out from it. And if you see that one day or two you don't get anything more, just leave it. But it can turn out to be that your headache that you're having right now, because you're watching the web page and you're saying, "Whoa, this is a lot of information here." So your mind can really say, "Whoa, you're not prepared for it. Don't go that way." Okay, stay on a natural path, which is artificial, by the way. Okay, and don't think anything more. But I keep on saying to people, if you really want to disconnect from the matrix, you really have to shift timelines, and you really have to jump timelines. Buddy,
yeah.
I love Brooklyn because she's fantastic on that, and she
Is she?
speaks really good about it. Yeah, today, for me, without putting Liza Renee on the mix and making a relationship between the two, okay, they are really two different persons, but they have the same potential.
Huh.
And Brooklyn, yeah, the Brooklyn, the way that she speaks about timelines and making this shift in consciousness makes you the shift, the natural shift into a natural timeline. It's fucking brilliant. and she puts words of science, okay, that are really in accordance with, and she's receiving the information.
Yeah, I can feel that with her.
She downloads a lot of stuff that I have to spend 2 up to 3 months reading, okay,
I
and
believe it.
studying each day. No, because they are really complex. And if
Yeah.
you ask her, she will say, I don't really know about this stuff. Yeah, it's because it's their guides, all these mediums and channels. A lot of times they don't even know what they're doing. Okay.
Wow.
They have to check on them, check the material, and say, what the fuck? I'm creating
Yeah,
all
I've
of this.
seen, yeah, Yolanda be like, oh, they said that, but like
Yeah,
she's
see?
so separate from it. I know they want to say this, but I'm going to say it like this because you're not ready to hear it like
Because,
that.
yeah, it's perfect. I really love those people.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Yeah. But this has been
So
wonderful.
I would
Yeah,
like to take 5 minutes, okay, just to read you something.
please.
Yeah, because you like soul contracts revocations, okay? But we're not doing a soul contract revocation,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah,
We're going to revoke, remove, troll energy, okay?
I'm all for that.
You're in a good mood, and I want you to remain in that good mood, okay? It's been a wonderful session with you. It's always fantastic. I don't know. I started speaking, shut up.
I love it.
Thank you very much.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Yeah, that's great. Please read it. I'll feel
Thank
into
you
it.
very much. It comes from my good friend Andrew Wartzis, okay? And it's really simple. It starts with removal of troll energy. Removal of troll energy, dealing with drama manifestors or situations where the I am presence is dragged into the high density drama of others' false light agenda of self delusion. I am, in the ever present moment of the now, acknowledge the presence of another I am presence in polarity, trying to consciously entangle me with their karma, drama, or spiritual issues. I am here to create a proper spiritual cord of equity, to create a clear separation of densities. I call upon the laws of action and reaction to sever all bonds of energetic connection between this I am presence and all other I am presence, forcing this I am presence into a dramatic polarity within the 3D matrix network of unsovereignty. I make this statement to all ancestors in union and communion with a common moral code of equality for all. I cannot longer bear the weight of dense false light energy sent my way via false light influenced personalities of individuals who have lost their way of knowingness. I summon all DNA lineage ancestors to hold space for this continued I am action, even while I sleep or visit other realms, including 3D matrix. I call to the ancestors to create a clear separation of density within my 1 degree of operation so this I am may transverse the multiverse without the forced drama of others who are unable to heal themselves with the information at hand existing in the 3D matrix world. I cannot bear the weight of healing an entire species, one broken, angry person at a time. There must be a common moral code we all can use. Until this common moral code is universal amongst our people, I make these statements to my ancestors in communion and union with unity consciousness, expansion, and evolution. Those who have targeted me in this time stream and matrix, I put you now on a permanent spiritual notice. If your energy violates my I am presence in this matrix or any other matrix network, you will be placed in a spiritual court of equity outside of this universe, so you may find remedy and resolve without my signature frequency as a teacher for your DNA lineage ever again. I am putting all matrix personalities on notice of spiritual court of equity summons of truth. Bring your petty lies and dictatorial comments to the ancestors. They will have infinite time to hear your words and exchange energy while you pontificate on false light philosophy. Let the ancestors teach you at the core of your being what true sovereignty is. I can no longer entangle with you in any way, shape, or form until you have seen, accepted, and integrated the common moral code of unity consciousness in the global dream time of Earth's mind. I call to all soul shards of myself and others who have been forcibly entangled consciousness energy via technology. We now separate all Akashic record frequency from this time matrix mainframe. We dismantle all matrix components and sever all ethic connections that create a backup system of false Akashic truth. I break all agreements, contracts, spiritual torts of retribution, and all other forms of false light or consent used during the defense of Earth's mother's realms. All of these perverted contracts are now sent to the Universal Central Sun Auditor for complete and total disentanglement of depth, perceived and unperceived, light body and matrix body, on all timelines, dimensions, galaxies, and universes I may exist in. I am myself unified in this message of clear separation of densities. I create and manifest my own life equations from my own source connection to great mystery. From this point forward and backward, in all perceptions of time, I make this statement, a standing energy sinew wave of self-truth in my own auric and Akashic frequency for all unsovereign beings to know that I am is not just words anymore. This is my manifestation of self-truth. Now I get this I am presence seriously to all those serial false light manifestors. And so it is, dear ones. Wow.
Whoa.
It creates, it creates a space.
Yeah.
See, you can use it in your day to day. I do
That's great. Oh, I believe you do.
And what you said to me in the beginning? Oh, you look great.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's because
You're
I'm doing
glowing.
Thank
You're
you very much.
glowing. This is awesome. Do you have anything, any final parting words before we wrap it up?
Yes, I do. I really love you, and I really love this connection.
Oh, I love you
And
too.
I wish you the best. I don't know if I can talk with you again like this face to face. So I'm wishing you a very happy new year.
We will talk again like this. I'll be
Okay.
working on these episodes or putting this together. So we'll be in touch.
Okay. I'll be here waiting for you.
Okay.
Thank you very
All the
much.
best.
Beautiful.